The person I'm going to talk about next is a person who's very near to me, a person who's a second-generation revolutionary. So please help me in welcoming Brother Tupac Shakur.
First, I want to say peace to my mother. She's not here, but I got to give peace out to her, because I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for my mother. And I looked on the front of this thing, and it says, start from within to rebuild our original greatness, right?
Here, Tupac starts it off like a real G. Peace and love to his mother. Let me tell you something, ain't no love like a mother's love. You know, as all you might know, Pac was raised by a single mother. You know, we all probably relate to that. Not all of us, but a majority of us. I know I can, because I was raised by my mother. I don't know my dad. My mom was disabled, and then she raised me. So much love to the mothers out there. Much love. Rest in peace to Afeni Shakur. Rest in peace to my mom. So Pac starts it off like a real champion, showing love to his mother, who he shows much respect to.
Greatness, right? Okay, well, that's what my mother did. You know what I'm saying? And I'm listening about freedom fighters and strugglers. Well, you got to understand that when it was in to have a gun and to be in the street, my mother gave that up to be in the house and wash the dishes, you know what I'm saying, and feed us and put the thoughts in our brains, you know what I'm saying? Because we didn't get any of that history from all of those soldiers that we lost. We got none of that.
Now, see, Pac, when he's talking about his mother, he's talking about a Black Panther. Not sure if many of you guys are familiar with the Black Panthers, but they were a wise group, a very militant group who was in the business of protecting Black people from police brutality and injustices by the government. So Pac is talking about how militant his mother was, and she was nothing to play with. She was nothing to play with. And pretty much all the Black Panthers, all of them carried guns. So they were ready for oppression. They were ready to fight oppression. They were ready to fight injustice. They were ready. So he's showing much love to his mother here. He's showing that he's saying that his mother was down for the cause. She was down. And a lot of women, I mean, these days in time, I mean, we have a lot of women who will fight, but not like how Pac mom. She was out there in the streets. Like, she was really down for the cause. And, you know, here he's saying that when she became pregnant, you know, she gave that up. She gave that up to instill values and principles into him. As you can see, he's only 20 years old. Look at him. She did a great job, you know, and she gave that all up, you know, to worry about Tupac, to instill good values in him, and to make sure that he will be raised a very, you know, very presentable young Black man. And she did a good job. He passed away early, but, you know, he got his message across. Let's continue.
You know what I'm saying, and feed us and put the thoughts in our brains, you know what I'm saying, because we didn't get any of that history from all of those soldiers that we lost. We got none of that. They all went to jail, if you can remember. They all went to penitentiaries. We didn't see none of that knowledge. If it was not for my mother who stayed home and didn't go out and do all that, then I wouldn't have had shit, excuse my language, but I wouldn't have been nowhere. So what I want to do, hopefully, is I want to be I am Tupac Shakur. I have to be a reminder that we can't chill out. No, it ain't time to cool out and banquets and all that. It's still on. It's on just like it was on when you was young and you want to say.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. What a powerful statement that he just made. Pac said it's not time to chill out. It's not time to chill out. You know, do you guys think that the reason that Kyrie and Kanye is going through what they're going through is because that the people that came before us, the elders, the older generation has chilled out and became passive in their fight for justice and injustice, for oppression, all the oppression that's going on, the police brutality? Do you think they became very passive and they've chilled out? That's the reason why the newer generation are going through the same exact thing that they went through. Even in my line of work, I see that Black people chill out. When it's time to fight for something, they just stand by and watch you. I work for the government, and I see that the employer does a lot of unjust things, and some of my coworkers just stand by and watch, won't do anything. almost all of them. And I think that's the biggest problem, especially when it comes to people and black people of that. A person can be getting castrated economically and defamed in the media, and people just stand by and watch. Or they turn to that person just to appease the powers that be. But best believe standing by and watching doesn't mean trouble won't come to you. That's something that I see that they don't understand. It doesn't mean that trouble won't come to you at all. I'm telling you. It kind of reminds me of the movie, I think Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 3. Peter Parker was in a wrestling match. He entered a wrestling match to win a prize because he needed money. And Peter Parker, to make a long story short, won the match. So when he won the match, he went into the boss's office to get his payday. And the boss was like, "Get away from me, kid, you scrawny kid," and didn't pay Peter Parker. So Peter Parker walked out the office, angry and mad. And while Peter Parker was walking out the office, a robber was coming in, and he robbed the boss of all the money. And the boss said, hey, kid, stop the guy. He just robbed me. And Peter just smiled and let the robber run past him. And as the robber went outside, he carjacked somebody in the car and killed them. And that person who he carjacked was Uncle Ben's, Peter Parker's uncle. And Peter Parker was never the same. I think he was deeply hurt by that. And the reason being because he had the power to stop the dude before it got to that. You know, he couldn't, if he wasn't passive, if he just didn't watch the guy get robbed, if he would have just stopped it, you know, his family member would have never got hurt. So I kind of take that into account. Like, we have to think about our kids. We got to think about the next generation, because if we don't stop it, you know, it's going to be a lot of Uncle Bens out here. And we see that it's happening, you know. So that's what Pac is saying. We don't have time to chill out. We don't got time to chill out. We gotta stop this now, or there's gonna be Uncle Ben's. What a powerful young man. Let's continue.
It's on just like it was on when you was young, and you want to say fuck that, just like you said fuck that back then. So how come now that I'm 20 years old and ready to start some shit up, everybody's telling me to calm down? You know, don't curse, go to school, go to college. Well, fuck that. You know, we had colleges for a while now. You know what I'm saying? And it's still Brenda's out there, and niggas is still trapped. You know what I'm saying? And it gets me irked. because I understand that it's not going to stop. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to stop until we stop it. That's right. And it's not just white men that's...
I'm just going to repeat what Pac just said. It's not going to stop until we stop it. It's not going to stop until we stop it. Wow, his words are so relevant today. I mean, when we go out and we march and do all things like that and become passive, like, I don't think that's the way to stop it. I don't think that works. We have to be active. We have to put a plan together to fight justice and to fight the powers that be. You know, notice, you know, he says that it has to be a collective group. It's not going to be one person. We have to do this together until we stop it. He uses the word we, togetherness, collectiveness, unity. You know, that's the only way we can stop oppression. That's the only way. We have to do it. Let's continue.
Doing this to Brenda, and it's not just white men that's keeping us trapped. Right. It's black. Right. You know what I'm saying? We have to find...
Real quick, y'all. Look how Tupac says it's not just white people holding us down, but it's black people as well. I mean, think about that. It's not just white people holding us down, but it's black people holding us down as well. Just look at the current situation with Kanye West and Kyrie Irving. Just look at Shannon Sharp, Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, LeBron James, and many others. Look how they tore down Kanye and Kyrie Irving for nothing, just for the power structure. And this stuff isn't new, y'all. This stuff is not new. Pac said this about 30-something years ago. And look at the current situation, how they use people who look like you to tear you down for no reason, just for money. And I know that I'm not shocked by it, because when you read the stuff like the Willie Lynch letter and you understand slavery, you understand that's always been the game. It's always someone who looks like you that you're going to have to worry about. But it needs to stop. We need to clean our own house up. That's what we need to do.
Right. It's black. Right. You know what I'm saying? We have to find the new African in everybody, in all of us. Because if we keep running around looking for black and who got the most colors on and who got the baddest dashiki on, we still gonna get, excuse my language, fucked. Right. Because that is...
Pac said something very, very interesting just here. Some that black people have a big issue with competing with one another. Black people love to compete with one another. Competition is division. Seriously, look at black competition is division. Like, people want to know who got the best shirt, who got the best dashiki on, who's looking the best, and he's right. Who looks the best? Who's in the church looking the best? Who has the biggest hat? Banana hat. I mean, he's right. I mean, it's still going on today, and that's an issue. You know, or we want to look at who has the best Nikes on, who's going to get the new Jordans tomorrow, waiting in line 5 hours before the store open to buy some new Jordans so you can look good for people that you don't like. Will Smith said it best. We buy stuff for people who we don't like just to impress people we don't like. That's real. You know what I'm saying? You got parents dressing their kids up with the best Nike gear, the best Nike shoes, but on Section 8 to impress who? I mean, here Pac is saying we are being impressed, and you guys want to look good to see who has the best dashiki on, who got the best Jordans on. We competing with one another. And here's Pac, is 20 years old, recognizing this and saying this. The dude was before his time. And like I said, that's something we have to stop. We have to stop this competition. Competition is division. We got to stop it.
Who got the most colors on and who got the baddest dashiki on, we still gonna get, excuse my language, fucked. Right. Because it irks me that my mother right now is going through, she has to get clean. This is somebody who I watched travel the whole country, you know what I'm saying, during a time when women were scared to speak up for the Black Panthers. She spoke at Harvard, Yale, everywhere, and now I see my mother as what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see no big parades around my mother now. And she done got a dozen fucking awards. And I don't see nobody there. You understand what I'm saying? So about all this, I take that lightly. I take all this lightly. What I want you to take seriously is what we have to do for the youth. Right. Because we're coming up in a totally different world. Right. This is not the same world that you had.
This is very, very significant right here. This is what Kyrie is talking about in his latest response on Instagram. He's talking about his son's generation, Generation X, that he refuses for his son to grow up without knowing who he is and being oppressed in this system, this oppressive system. You know, Kyrie said he's gonna do whatever to change it, and for his son, so his son doesn't have to go through it or try his best. And I agree with him. And here's Pac saying that we need to focus on the new generation, you know, to change it, so they won't have to go through what we went through. You know, so this is exactly what Kyrie is talking about, you know, and here we have a young Pac saying the same thing about the new generation.
For the youth. Right. Because we're coming up in a totally different world. Right. This is not the same world that you had. This is not the 60s. This is not that. We grew up BC, before crack. That should say it all. Right. You understand what I'm saying? We did not grow up without parents. You had parents that told you this and that, and this is what went on back in the day. Now you don't have that. Right. You have young kids, 14, coming home, their mama is smoking out or doing it to their best friend to get the product. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Right.
Yeah, it's real. I'm telling you, it's real. I grew up around drugs, and a lot of my friends' mothers and fathers were on drugs. And I'm gonna be honest, some of my friends, they sold drugs to their own mother for the simple fact that they didn't want their mother to go out there and get it from anyone else. Or, you know, their own friends served their own mom, served their mother or their dad. So I understand what Pac is saying. It's real. I mean, the drug effect had a big impact. The epidemic of drugs had a big impact on the black community. So it's sad, you know, it's sad what crack has done to black people. It's so sad. Here Pac is addressing his issue like a young champion. So I can definitely relate to him, relate to what he's saying. Thank God that I never had to go through nothing like that my mom or nothing like that were on drugs, but people around me were. So I thank God for that. I ain't have to experience that.
Smoking out or doing it to their best friend to get the product. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So that means that it's not just about you taking care of your child, it's about you taking care of these children. Right. Because that's what's out here, the gang of children.
Like Pac said, collectively, It's about raising these kids together and not just worrying about yourself or your kids. It takes a village to raise a kid. Seriously. That's pretty much, it feels like that's what's missing. Everybody's worrying about self, and there's no collective act. You know, we got to raise these kids together. And it's what Pac is hinting on.
Children. Right. Because that's what's out here. The gang of children. You understand what I'm saying? And it hurts. It hurts. And it bothers me, not hurts. It bothers me that I have to sidestep my youth to stand up and do some shit that somebody else supposed to be doing. Right. You understand what I'm saying? There's too many men out here for me to be doing it. Because it ain't my turn yet. I'm supposed to be following behind him getting the knowledge. I don't even got a chance to get the fucking knowledge. I can't go to college. There's too much problems out here. I don't got the money. Nobody do. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is...
Now this is deep. Here Pac is saying, where's the real man at? Where the real man at? At 20 years old. Pac is saying, I'm 20 years old. I should be out here enjoying my youth. I should be out here doing things that 20 years should be doing. Playing basketball, kickball, maybe going to college. But he said, I'm up here talking because y'all won't do it. Y'all won't do it. This is deep. This is powerful. Y'all won't step up. The real man, the older man, Pac said, I should be falling behind you. I shouldn't be up here no 20 years old. But he said, since y'all won't do it, I'll do it. What a powerful, powerful man Pac was. What a powerful man he was at 20 years old at the time of his speech.
You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is it's not as easy as we mapping it out to be. And we got to stay real. We got to stay real. Before we can be New African, we got to be black first. Right. You understand? We got to get our brothers from the street like Harriet Tubman did. Why can't we look at that and see exactly what she was doing? Like Malcolm did. The real Malcolm. Before the Nation of Islam. You got to remember this was a pimp. You know what I'm saying? The push and all that. We forgot about all of that. And our strive to be enlightened, we forgot about all our brothers in the street. Right. About all our...
Here Pac is saying something so deep here. What is Pac really saying here? What is he saying? He's saying before we can be African, before we can go back to our roots, we have to be black. We have to be black. Before we act all bougie and enlightened, you know, there's nothing wrong with being enlightened, like he said, but we have to have this mentality where we are still in the struggle, because there's so many of us out there on the streets that still are in the struggle. So to save them, we need to go back out to the streets. We need to reach them. We need to will them in. We need to be fishermen. Like Jesus said, be fishermen of men. But the only way we can be fishermen of men is that we have to be like them. Not them in a way of being on drugs or in that nature, but to the point we have to look like them. They got to be able to relate to us. They got to be able to relate to us. So that's what Pac is saying. Like, before we get all bullshit and being enlightened, man, there's so many of us on the streets that need help, that want help, but no one relates to them, so they stuck in the rut, they stuck in the mud. Then he goes on to say the real Malcolm. He's talking about Malcolm X here, guys. The real Malcolm. And what does he mean, the real Malcolm? He's talking about Detroit Red. Detroit Red. Like, and we all know Malcolm became a great, great man. He became a great man. But Pac is saying all to go get the people on the streets. We got to be street. We got to go out there and pull them back. The real Malcolm, Detroit Red. So that's what Pac is talking about here. And he has a point. He has a point. How many of us have slammed the doors in Jehovah's Witnesses' faces when they knocked on your door? Or you got the church people on the corner passing out flyers that they try to talk to you just keep walking by. I stopped and may listen now, but when I was younger and when I was in my thing, doing my thing, like, I didn't pay attention to them because I knew that they couldn't relate to me and I couldn't relate to them. So why am I listening to you? So that's what Pac is saying. So let's just keep it. We've all have done that because we felt that they couldn't relate to our struggle. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that the people who have got converted, like they never went through a struggle, but people don't say it like that. People's perception holds a lot of weight in their minds. If in someone's mind, if they feel like you can't relate to them and they can't relate to you, you have no connection. They can't relate to you, I'm not going to listen to you. So that's what all Pac is saying. We got to go. It's so many people on these streets that's in the struggle, in these ghettos that need help. So we got to go out there. We can't be so enlightened, come in this building and meet and then go back home and thinking it's all good, because it's not all good. So I definitely feel what the late, great Tupac Shakur is saying here, man. For him to be 20 years old, man, this is amazing. It's amazing. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, it's him saying that reminds me of a scripture where Jesus said when the Pharisees trying to tempt him, and he said they, called him a physician, but Jesus said, they asked Jesus, why was he sitting talking to in today's language, why are you talking to the streets, the thugs? Why are you in the street talking to the thugs and the prostitutes? And Jesus said, those who are well don't need a physician, but those who are sick need a physician, and that's who I've came to this earth to save them. And that's all Pac is saying in simplest terms, that we have to be physicians, that the people that are well don't need a doctor. But the people who are sick, the thugs, the pimps, the whores, the prostitutes, the murderers, the killers, they need help. They need help. And even when you read the scriptures, the Bible talks about Jesus, that when you looked upon him, he wasn't a man that you would fall over for, like a woman will fall over for. He was an ordinary man. He was an ordinary man. And his mission was to go out there, like Pac said, to the streets and will people in. And that's what it should be about. Let's continue.
Our pimps, and that's who's teaching the new generation.
That's right.
Because y'all not doing it. I'm sorry, but it's the pimps and the pushers who's teaching us. So if you got a problem with how we was raised, it's because they was the only ones who could do it. They the only ones who did it. While everybody else wanted to go to college, and everything has changed. They was the ones that was telling you the white man ain't shit. Here you go. Check this out, young blood. You take this product, you switch it, you make money, and that's how you beat the white man. You get money and you get the hell up out of here. Nobody else did that. So I don't want to hear shit about nobody telling me who I can't love and respect until you start doing what they did. You understand what I'm saying? To me, this is Mecca. You know what I'm saying? This is the black family. I see it here. But what makes it even that much more sad, what makes me want to cry, is because as soon as I leave here, so does Mecca. You understand what I'm saying? We're going back to the real deal. Right out there, you're going to see them same sisters and Brenda. They right out there. And y'all going to get in y'all cars and drive the fuck home. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Here Pac is saying something that's real also. And it happens all the time. You can see it in the church. He said, after we leave here, after we go home, after we open these doors, it's real. We back in the struggle. So what we going to do about it? What we going to do about it? Are we going to get in our cars and drive home and then come back and talk again? And that's what he's saying. And nothing will change, because we're going to leave these doors. We're going to go outside. We're going to get in our car. We're going to go home, and we're going to do nothing about it. We just here talking. And that seems like that's what's been going on for years. So I definitely agree with him.
Drive the fuck home. Right. You know what I'm saying? I apologize, but check this out. You can't be no more offended by my curses than what's really going on. That's real.
Now listen to this elder. Listen to this elder who's appalled at Pac's cursing. And Pac refutes it like a true genius and says you can't be no more offended than what's going on outside these doors. What a powerful statement. What a powerful, powerful statement he just made. And it's crazy like how, this older generation, man, is so religious but not righteous. People have a tendency of being religious but not righteous, and instead of listening to Pac's message and worrying about, what Pac is saying, he's worrying about Pac cussing. I mean, just pay attention, guys. And that's another issue that we have with older folks. But Pac, he apologized, but he refuted like a genius. And I have to agree with Pac. Let's continue.
Drive the fuck home. Right. You know what I'm saying? I apologize, but check this out. You can't be no more offended by my curses than what's really going on. That's real. That's real, y'all. That's real. Y'all gotta really be true to that. You gotta be true to that. Because we letting the media and the white man cut us off. You letting them tell you that the rappers ain't real, and you know you gotta either be, you know, the intelligent person or you're a gutter person. We all the same. We all feel it like y'all feel it. I just can't hold a straight face when I see it.
Right.
This is proof that we can be together. The young black male is the future of us. And the young black sister is the future of us. It's gonna be what you put into it. So if you don't put shit into it, don't get mad when you blow up.